So in this class, we are going to start at chapter number 1, GST in India and paper tax. So that's me. Or we can say the basic concepts of GST. The first question whenever we are doing any kind of tax, that is indirect tax, income tax, or the indirect tax, the first question is that what do you mean by the tax? Okay. So student, tax is basically a pecuniary burden. Pecuniary burden. Why it is pecuniary and why it is not the voluntary? First of all, what do you mean by the pecuniary burden? It means that it is not a voluntary payment that persons are going to give it by their own will. Do you ever think about this thing, or do you ever heard from your family or your friends that I have so much income and I want to pay the income tax to the government? No, they are never ever going to say this. Huh? So this is not a pecuniary. This is not by the self will. Or we can, this is the pecuniary, it is not by the self will, it is not a voluntary payment. Pecuniary means that it is imposed by the government. It is imposed by the government on the people or on the property owners or any individual. Okay. Now, so we can say in the simple words that tax is nothing but a fees which is charged, which is imposed by the government on the people to collect the money from the people. Now the next question, ma'am, why they want to collect money from us? Don't they have their own pocket utility? Oh, yeah, they have. Now the next thing is that why they want to collect money from the people, or why they want to collect the tax. Government is providing us so many public services. Like they have provided the education in the form of government schools or government colleges, for which they are charging very minimal fee. Okay. That they are providing the health services in the form of the government hospitals. They are constructing roads. They are constructing bridges. And many more types of services they are providing. Now, from how they will be, from which source they will collect funds for it. They will provide the public houses to the public, but not provide time of service. Every person needs some money. Every authority needs some money. So today, they, for providing these public services, they collect revenue. They collect money from it. In the form of taxes. In those taxes benefit us in the form of the public service. Okay. Now, the next question is related to the examination. This is the basic knowledge of tax, which might not have coming in the examination first. But next question can be coming in the examination. And students, I want to tell you one thing, that how you are going to take the notes for it. And yeah, one more thing. Our classes are available in both the languages. That is 100% English language and the mixture of Hindi and English language. So you can join the classes as per your language preference. Okay, yeah. And the second subject which we are providing is the audit subject. Okay. Now, students, I am going to tell you that how you are going to make the notes. You are going to make the notes along with the chapter. It means we are going to make the handwritten revisionary notes with the classes. Okay. These are very important weapon for if you want to score the 80% examination, so you have to prepare the revisionary notes for every subject. Yeah. And for the task of the audit, we are making in the class itself. Question number 1, let's start it. That what is a tax? So let's start it. The tax is a pecuniary burden, not a monetary. The pecuniary burden imposed by the law. Okay? Imposed by law. That's it. You have to write just the in the kind of the revisionary notes. Next thing is that how many type of taxes are there? Just to read. Types of taxes. Everything is written in the book itself, but you have to make the revisionary notes first. And those students who have purchased our books or who have joined our classes, please note one thing, that on one page, on one side of the book, there's the written material like this, and on the another side it is blank, and the blank is for the purpose that you can make the revisionary notes on that side of the book. Okay, so just pick it there. Now, the next question is that how many kind of taxes are there? Students, there are 2 types of taxes. Okay. What are those 2 types? First is direct tax and the second is the indirect tax. First is direct tax, second is the indirect tax. Let's further elaborate it. So direct tax is the income tax. Types of direct taxes are indirect types. Indirect taxes are GST, that is goods and service tax, which we are going to cover at the class itself today in the previous class. And second is the custom duty. Why income tax is knowing as a direct tax, why GST and the custom duty are doing it the indirect tax? So let's understand it. In the case of income tax, suppose there is a person known as James. Not James Bond, but it's just James. Okay, James. Now, in the case of income tax, what is going to happen is, suppose James is earning rupees 10 lakhs in a year. Okay. So on this 10 lakh income, James has to pay the tax, income tax, that is on tax on the income to the government. Now he's going to pay the income tax on this 10 lakh rupees to the government himself. There is one important thing to know, that James is earning the income and James is paying the tax to the government. That this tax is directly imposed on that person who is earning that income, and government is collecting the tax directly from that person. You cannot forget the other person. So that's why it is known as the direct tax. Or we can say that it is levied and collected by the same person. It is levied as it is imposed on the same person and collected too from that person. Now, what do you mean by the indirect taxes? Let's understand it with the help of an example. Suppose students, this is you. Okay. Now, you are going to a shopkeeper. Jacks. Okay. And you are saying to the Jacks, please give us a register as we are going to prepare our notes. So, student, suppose Jacks have sold you a register for rupees 45, and Jacks is saying that on this 45 rupees, there will be a GST, there will be a tax on that product, suppose 5. Okay. You have to pay the tax to the Jacks only, that is you are going to give the 50 rupees to the Jacks. You are not going to the government to pay that 5 rupees. Okay. So you will pay total rupees 50 to the Jacks. Normally we do this thing in the shop. Suppose we are going to want to purchase something, so what we are going to do there is that on the total bill they will impose GST, and with we normally pay that GST part to that shopkeeper. Okay. In this case, what is going to happen? That on whose pocket its impact will fall on your pocket. Otherwise, if there is no GST, you have to pay only rupees 45 to the shopkeeper. But now, in that case, you have to pay additional rupees 5 to the shopkeeper. That is, you have to 50 rupees to the jar. Okay. So it means, students, burden is on your pocket. Burden is on your pocket. But who is that person who is taxpayer in the eye of the law? Who is that person who is going to pay that tax to the government? That is Jacks. Government does not give it. Government knows only about the Jack. Okay, that the Jack is paying rupees 5 to the government. It means it has impact and incidence on two different persons. They are actually levying this tax on you, but they are collecting this tax from the Jack. Jack is an indirect way, shifting the burden of rupees 5 on you. Okay, you have paid 5 rupees to the Jack. Jack is paying that 5 rupees to the government. That is why, in this case, it is known as indirect tax. Okay, why it is indirect? Because they are not directly collecting the tax from you. They are collecting the tax from you, but in an indirect manner, that is through the root of the Jack. Okay. Impact and incidents are of the different persons. That's why it is known as the indirect tax. I hope to understand this point here. If you have any kind of you have very definitely ask. Okay. So in the case of direct tax, impact and incidents are of the same persons. Impact and incidents are on the same person. But here, impact and incidents are on different levels. Please write this notes in the class itself. Otherwise, it will look like a burden to you if you are going to do it. I'm hiding my features so that I can try to do it. In fact, and incidents are on different persons. Are on different persons. Okay. Now, so do you want that I should come back? Yeah, okay. So I'm pick my video, guys. Next question is we have covered what is the tax. Next question is direct and indirect taxes. So taxes are broadly classified into direct and indirect taxes, which we have covered right now. Direct tax is a kind of charge which is imposed directly on the taxpayer and paid directly to the government. It means there is no shifting of tax burden to another person. Okay. Now, a significant direct tax imposed in India is the income tax. Next thing, indirect taxes. If the taxpayer is just a conduit, at every stage the tax incidence is passed but it finally reaches consumer. It's a the taxpayer is a conduit. Taxpayer is just a medium to collect the taxes from the customer. It's funny. And actually that shopkeeper is that then taxpayer is going to pay the tax to the government. Okay. Now, what are the differences between the direct tax and indirect? It's not the important question. Is ma'am. These lines we have to read these lines also. So there are some basic words in these lines. Tax, consumption taxes, progressive, regressive, which will be a little bit difficult to understand right now. So I will explain these words in this difference part. Okay, that's why I just skipped this part. Okay, so just trust on me. We are going to cover 100% concepts in our classes. Don't worry. Now the next question is difference between the direct and indirect taxes, and there are high chances that this question might come in the section in the part of income tax or in the part of GST. But now they have asked this question so many times that write the difference between the direct tax and the indirect tax. So let's understand. First is direct tax. So the person paying to the government tax to the government directly bears the incidence of the tax. It means the impact and incidence are on the same person. Impact is the person who is the taxpayer, that is the Jackson an example. Income of James. James is an example. James is going to pay the income tax and then that 10 lakh rupees directly to the government. It means the impact that incidence are on the same person. But in this case, the incidence of tax is passed on to other person. It means shopkeepers have passed that incidence of tax to you because on whose pocket that burden is on your. Okay, that means if that incidents are on the different persons. Now, the next difference is that direct tax is progressive in nature. Please understand it. It is very, very, very important. And indirect taxes are regressive in nature. Okay. What do you mean by the progressive and the regressive? What progressive means that what is progress stage. Now, how direct tax is progressive and how indirect tax is regressive, let's understand. So, it's a income tax, there is a slab rate. There are the kind of the taxes which are imposed on the person in the slab rate. For example, there is a slab rate, normal slab rate that on the income of 0 to 2,50,000 rupees, there will be no tax. If a person is earning up to rupees 2,50,000 in a financial year, they have to pay no tax. But if they are earning more than rupees 2,50,000, for example, they are earning 3 lakh rupees. Okay, so in this case, there will be 2,50,000 one pay to the next, for example, 5 lakh. They will be safe. Okay, I'm just taking a random percentage because if I take the actual percentage, you will get confused there. That, oh ma'am, we are not reading it. Okay, so I'm just taking the random percentage. Suppose it is 5%. Okay. So now students, let's understand. Let's suppose that a person is earning rupees 3 lakh. So it means on 0 to 2,50,000 they have to pay nothing. On rupees 2,50,000 to 5 lakh. In our case, it's only 3 lakh. Max limit is 5 lakh. Okay. So 2,50,000 1 to 3 lakh. How much difference it is? It means 50,000 income. On rupees 50,000, there will be an income tax of 5%. Now, what is happening? If there are two persons here, the first is earning rupees 2,40,000. There are two persons here. First is earning only rupees 2,40,000. It means that person will fall on this category, 0 to 2,50,000. So they have to pay no tax to the government. There will be zero tax. Okay. If this person is paying nothing, nil tax to the government. But this person who is earning 3 lakh, they have to pay tax 5% or 50,000. Okay. If income is increasing, so tax rates are also increasing. Okay, so the tax rate will be 10% and the next it will be increasing by this. Okay, they will reach the maximum 30%. If a person is earning more income, they have to pay more percentage of income tax to the government. Okay. In the case of income tax, government is imposing high percentage of income tax on new person who have the ability to pay more. If a person is earning more, they have the ability to pay more. Now, in the case of indirect tax, what happens? Suppose there are two persons, first is Mr. Ambani and second is first is Mr. Ambani. Second is a random guy attached to the chains. Like, now, Mr. Ambani is going to a shop and he is purchasing, for example, 100 pens. In the case of 100 pens, they said, sir, please listen carefully that for each and every pen, you have to pay 10% and GST. The second, no one, we are Ambani. And in the second case, that is in the case of G, he is purchasing 2 pens for his paper. So they are saying, sir, for each and every pen, you have to pay 10% GST. It means, students, how much you are receiving, how much you are purchasing, or how much the shopkeeper is supplying, it will not written here. Each and every person have to pay same rate of GST because the GST is defined as per the goods or services. They are not defined as per the that if a person is purchasing more, he have to pay more GST and that. Okay. I am talking about the rate, not about the amount. Obviously, the amount is going to increase, but we are comparing it with the rate. Okay. So, if a person is purchasing one product, 100 product, 1,000 of product, the same rate of GST will be imposed on each and every person. That means it is regressive. It means there's no time that if a person purchasing more, they have to pay high rate of GST, high percentage of GST to the government. That is not really happen. Okay. Progressive in nature, it means higher taxes per person having higher income or higher ability to pay. But it is regressive in nature, that is indirect tax. All the persons equally bear the burden irrespective of the ability. Next is, in the case of direct tax, burden of tax borne by the person because they have to pay tax to the government from the own power. But in the case of indirect tax, the shopkeeper shifted it on the tax, but the burden of tax is shifted to another person, that is the person. How many types of direct taxes are there? So in India, there are one type of direct tax, that is income. But indirect taxes are of type versus GST and the second is custom. Okay. Now, if a person you have to listen about the wealth tax. So wealth tax has now been abolished. It has been abolished, so it is not a part of the taxes in India. Okay. Next question. What are the features of indirect tax? First feature of indirect tax is that it is an important source of revenue to the government. And why it is an important source? Direct tax is also important. Yes, exactly. A direct tax is important. But in your student life, tell me one thing. Are you paying income tax to the government? I hope in most of the cases the answer will be no, ma'am, we are not paying tax to the government right now. And we are not earning. We are only studying. We are earning. But are you paying GST to the government? If you are paying GST to the shopkeeper or shop, on each and every purchase, if you are going to a mall, if you are going to watch a movie or anywhere, even if you are going, let's take a realistic example. If you are going in a restaurant, okay, and on that restaurant, student, whenever you are going to order a pizza or anything, that restaurant provider will impose GST on you. It means that in the case of indirect taxes, you are paying GST to the government. Okay. In our India, more than 50% of the total revenue of the government, suppose it is 100 CR. We're just taking a random number. So more than 50% of the 100 CR is coming in the form of indirect taxes. So it is really, really, really very important case of revenue declaration. Indirect taxes are a major source of tax revenues for government worldwide. It's worldwide and continue to grow as more countries move to consumption-oriented tax regime. Now, what's the consumption-oriented tax regime? And why GST is known as the consumption tax? GST is also known as the consumption tax. Why? So, consumption tax means when that it is actually levied on the person who are consuming the goods or services. And not just in India, in the whole world, the taxes are shifted to the consumption-oriented tax regime. In the case of the direct tax, it means the taxes levied on the customer at the customer base is so much high. In this case, that's why it is an important source of revenue. In India, indirect taxes contribute more than 50% to the tax revenue of central and state. The next thing is about the consumption tax. Students, I hope you understand. The taxes levied on the part where the goods or services are consumed. Yeah. Next is tax on commodities and services. Unlike income tax is levied on the income of a person, but in case of indirect taxes, I'm not talking about the GST, but I'm talking about the indirect taxes. It is talking about that is the GST and the customer. That's why we have to be very careful by writing the answer in examination. If examiner asks us what are the features of indirect taxes, so we have to mention the word indirect tax. Okay, in most of the cases, write indirect tax, not just the GST and the customer. In an example, you can elaborate about either the GST or the custom duty, but in the main part, you have to write the answer in the way the examiner asked the question. Okay. So, unlike income tax is levied. Taxes levied on the income of a person, but in both the cases, that is in GST and custom duty, means the indirect taxes are levied on the commodities and services. Even in the case of custom duty is basically levied in that case when there is if I say inter-country sale purchase, it means inter-border sale. If we are purchasing anything from out of India, so we normally say that it is an imported product. Why it is an imported product? Because that product is imported into India by paying the import duty. That is the custom duty. When we see any product from out of India, for example, rice. So in that case, we say that India is a very big exporter of the rice. They are exporting it to the other country on which they charge. That is another form of custom. Both the taxes are on the commodity that serves. It is levied on the commodities at the time of supply or manufacture or purchase or sale or import or export thereof. And basically, when they are purchasing, this tax will be levied. When they are selling, this tax will be levied. So hence, it is also known as commodity tax. The name of the indirect tax with commodity tax. If you look, highlight this. Just highlight. India, with the commodities, it is also levied on the supply of services. For example, a person is giving their advice to the people they have, and if they are collecting any money, they are collecting any fees, so they will charge GST, that is goods and service tax. It is also levied on the supply of services. In the case of indirect taxes, there is a shifting of tax burden. We have clear right. Yeah. So there is a clear shifting of tax burden in respect of indirect taxes. For example, GST paid by the supplier of the goods was recovered from the buyer by including that tax to the cost of tax paid to the services. Okay. Last reading the next feature of the indirect taxes is perception of direct pay. Actually, they are playing with our minds in this case. For example, suppose you are using a product which is imported product, that is, which is from out of India. So we are very happy and we in fact brought it to our friends or the relatives that we are using an imported product. But actually, the concern behind that product is that you have paid the import fee. It is what is happening. Suppose there is a seller in the China. Okay. And there is a shopkeeper in the India. When that Indian shopkeeper is purchasing that product from the China shopkeeper, so they have to pay an additional tax on it, that is the import duty. Okay. And suppose that product is 100 rupees. The Indian shopkeeper have paid 10 rupees as the import duty. That is what 10 rupees they have paid to the Chinese shopkeeper. So for sure, that 10 rupees burden is falling on you guys. Now the shopkeeper will give that about 100 rupees plus the 10 rupees which they have paid to the Chinese shopkeeper plus their profit margin. But they will want. So students, we are not actually understanding that we have paid it duty on that product. We are just happy that okay, it is an imported product because the shopkeeper is going to say, "Ma'am, this product is at 125." They are not going to bifurcate the cost of it that you are actually paid the import duty or you are actually paid the GST on that. That in the case of indirect taxes, there is no perception of direct page. There is no clear bifurcation, so we are not clearly understanding that yeah, we are paying the indirect tax to the government in a very high form. But in the case of income tax, in the case of direct tax, we know that we are paying the tax on our income to the government. Okay, so next time you are purchasing anything, that is an extra product or an imported product, just understand one thing that you are actually paying an indirect tax on that. Okay. Let's take another example. Suppose students, you are purchasing a software. Okay. You are purchasing this software. Just check on its quality. We know that we are paying rupees 20 for that software, for that small software. But please note it right now if you have a bottle of software like anything, right? That 20 rupees in that, there is a small written on it, MR inclusive of all taxes. In that 20 rupees, there is a GST part also. We are not understanding that we are paying GST on that 20 that 20 rupees also. Okay. So no percentage. So its value of indirect taxes is generally embedded with the price of the commodity. Most of the time, the taxpayer or consumer pays the state without actually knowing that they are paying the tax to the government. Taxpayer does not perceive a direct pay while paying tax and direct tax. Next is inflation. And why it is inflation? Let's take another example. Or just take the example of that software. Okay. So, there was a price of rupees 20. Suppose in that 2 rupees is of GST. Okay. Now, student, if there was no GST on that part, if there was no indirect tax on that part, we have to pay only rupees 80. Now we have to pay this 20. It means the prices are going to increase because of this indirect taxes. That's why there is a all-round price spiral. It means in other words, I can say that price of commodities or the services are linked with inflationary trend. They are on the inflationary means on the increasing trend. Because of this indirect taxes, the price of the commodity and the services have fallen in effect. Next is wider tax base. Why it is wider tax base? Wider tax base means that comparison to direct taxes, millions of the persons are paying the indirect tax. That is a wider tax. Unlike direct taxes, the indirect taxes have a wider tax base. Majority of the products or services are subject to indirect taxes, and when people are purchasing, they are paying that tax to the government. Next is promote social welfare. Now, how it is promote social welfare? The students. Let's understand it. What government have actually do it, which is actually they have done it very, very, very good. Students, they have imposed higher taxes. In indirect taxes, taxes is according to product or service. On different products or services, there are different types of taxes. Okay? But they have done it on those products which are having a harmful effect on our health. They impose higher level of high rate on it. For example, they suppose, let's take an example, that they impose 28% GST. Now, there is a product which has a very harmful effect on our health, and government knows. So what government has actually done, the price of that product without any kind of taxes is 100. If they make only rupees 5 on that, or we can say only 5% on that product, so the customer has to pay 100 will be 5% rupees fine, 105 to the government. Okay, the customer is going and yeah, just give it to be something. Or other case, what there is happening is government have paid higher rate of income tax, that is 28% on that. Take a minute. Now the customer have to pay 128. The customer have to pay more. And when the customer have to pay more, they just limit their consumption of that harmful product because all the person and then we only for all the person in the world obviously have a limited amount of money. So they just don't want to waste them. So in that case, they also promote social welfare. Higher taxes are imposed on the consumption of harmful drugs are also known as sins. Okay, but they are known as sins. Now, what kind of harmful products are in the market? For example, alcoholic products, tobacco products, etc., which are very harmful for the health. So this not only checks their consumption, now it checks their consumption. Check here does not be verified. Here the check is restrict their consumption and the people, because now they have to pay more. And a lot of business, what they are doing in the case of harmful product, the state government, the state government is now collecting the higher rate of taxes. For otherwise they are collecting only rupees 5 on that, but now they are collecting 28 rupees on that product. Means it will be a part of substantial revenue for the states. Okay. Regressive in nature, I have already explained you it, that generally the indirect taxes are regressive in nature. Either the people who are rich or the poor, they have to pay the same rate of indirect taxes on certain corporating themselves. Now, but what they're going to do is the pan saying that Mr. Ambani is purchasing a pen of rupees 10, he have to pay 10%, that is 1 rupees as the GST part, and Mr. Ambani is paying rupees 11 as the GST part. On the other side, there is also a person known as Mr. J, who is also earning, who have actually very low income, but he's also paying the same amount. Now, if people both are paying the same amount, Mr. Ambani no effect on the income and only 11.5, but the city is also paying 11. So students instead further increase the income difference between the rich and the poor. It is also a factor. Next thing is how GST has come in our India. What is the genesis of GST in India? Now one more important one. Now, is there any requirement to the study material along with your other English? No requirement. Each and every concept have covered with the notes. Okay. And if any student wants to purchase only notes, there is an option of purchasing only notes also. So what the genesis means that how India have in which way GST has come into it. Now, first, which day GST has launched in India. Students, you can never ever forget it. Okay, that's 1st July 2017. 1st July 2017. And for your very kind information, 1st July is also a CAT. Okay, so you can say that CAT is also a GST. On 1st July 2017, you can even forget your date on 1st. Please never ever forget the day on which GST has been launched. And why you are saying this? Because before GST was launched now actually what happens is when GST has come into India, there was a similar kind of indirect tax, excise duty, which is levied whenever a manufacturer produces something, or there was service tax, there was VAT, there was CST, many kind of taxes were there, which we have actually studied out, which we have actually looked out for our examination. When we have obviously give our examination before 2007, but when GST has come into India, it is also very important for the students, but because the students have only two subjects, two kind of indirect taxes. First of all, the GST, which covers the very last part, and second is the minimum part of the custom. Okay, so they were never put the rate of GST. Let's understand it. Student, GST launched into India first time in 2017, but what do you think that it is done over the night? It's not like that on the previous day, some person come and say, okay, from tomorrow GST will be launched with you. That doesn't happen. What is happening is that first of all, the discussion of GST had to start in the year 2000. Just 2000. The Prime Minister of that time, that Prime Minister with the ruling department in the year 2000, they introduced the concept of the GST, and actually they have set up a committee to design a GST model for the country. Okay, and how they come to do the GST? Because before India, there were so many countries which have already launched the GST part. So we are seeing we actually as government are seeing that okay, GST is good for the benefit of the country, so let's just launch. First of all, it was year 2000. Then students in the year 2006. Our Union Finance Minister, who is the Finance Minister, currently Finance Minister? Yeah. Tell me. Okay, just tell me in the comment section. Okay. Yes. That time, that is the year 2006, the Union Finance Minister announced that the GST would introduce from 1st of February 2010. They said that need be actually required 4 years to implement it. So, we will introduce from the year from the year's 1st April 2010. But it from 1st April 2010, due to some reason, it had not launched. Okay, it had not. Year 2014, when the new government had come into power, so they have passed the Constitution 122nd Amendment Bill was introduced in the Lok Sabha. Now, what is the Constitution? Each and every year for amendments in our Constitution, that is the amendments to the supreme law of the country, which is the supreme law, of the country, that is the Indian Constitution. Now, so, think, for updates in that Constitution, every year a Constitution bill was introduced. So in the year 2014, they introduced it. Okay. Now, students, then in the August 2016, what they have done, when a bill has been passed into a parliament, it becomes an act. Okay. The Constitution, 101st Amendment Act, the bill was 122nd Amendment Bill. It have come into executive part so many times. That, which is the number of bills of Constitution 122nd Amendment Bill. But it has passed in the parliament, it becomes the Constitution 101st Amendment Act. See? So students, when it was enacted in the September 2016 first GST Council meeting. Then in the past 2017 GST Council, recommend GST Council is actually a bunch of persons who are very experienced in their taxation knowledge, finance knowledge. So they recommend that there should be 5 kind of taxes there: CGST, SGST, IGST, UTGST, and GST compensation that we will talking about in the further lectures. Then in April 17, students, all the acts have been passed. There is the May 17 GST Council recommends all the rules that which would incorporate it in the launching of GST. Then on the 30th June 2007, all states accepted it. All states passed their States Goods and Service Tax Act. Yeah, but not the change. Change get passed on the July 2007, and then the journey continues still. Like, now, are we required to write? Are we required to remember these dates? We are not required to remember these dates. We are just required to remember 3 points. Okay. First is Constitution 122nd Amendment Bill in the year 2014. Second, in August 2016, Constitution 101st Amendment Act. Okay. And then on 1st July 2017, GST now. Yeah. Now, the next thing is, what are the basic concepts of GST? That means from this portion, we are going to understand, we are going to learn about the different concepts of GST, which will cover it in our next lecture, that is the second lecture. Now, students, please let me know that how much you like my classes and if there is any kind of query, terminate class. But thank you and have a nice day.